Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
Bismillah, assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. Welcome to another episode of Ask Huda. I'm your host, Omar Dunlap, and we have with us our beloved Sheikh, Dr. Muhammad Salah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullahu khairan, Omar.
Thank you, ayyakum. And I would like to remind our viewers of our telephone numbers, 002-0238-555-248 or 249, or you can email your questions to us at ask@huda.tv. Sheikh, I would like to go to a pending question we have now from Sister Hawa from Nigeria. She asks, if a non-Muslim were to be generous and pay for a Muslim to go to Hajj or Umrah, is it permissible, or can we pay them back for them to go on their own religious pilgrimage? For example, if a Christian wanted to go to Jerusalem or something like that.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi alladhi bi ni'matihi tatimmu as-salihat. والصلاة والسلام على أفضل البرايا وأشرف الكائنات سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا وبعد. All praise due to Allah alone. We praise Him and we seek His help. Whomsoever Allah guides is a truly guided one, and whomsoever Allah leaves astray, no one can show him guidance. May the best peace and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It is permissible to give in a charity to non-Muslims who are needy. So the voluntary charity, it is permissible to give to Muslims and non-Muslims, and you will be rewarded for that. If a non-Muslim gave you a gift, other than a gift that is related to a religious ceremony or a religious event, such as celebrating Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever, it is permissible to accept it and exchange gifts with them. Somebody supported you in some circumstances, financial circumstances, or even paid you fully to perform Hajj. Thank you so much. But is it permissible to pay somebody to do a religious duty that is a duty that does not belong to monotheism? No, it is not permissible, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Ma'idah, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. Somebody wants to buy a small statue or idol or a cross. It's not even permissible for Muslims to trade in items like that. It is not permissible. So in any other areas, it is 100% permissible and recommended to honor your guests, whether Muslims or non-Muslims, to take care of your neighbors, whether Muslims or non-Muslims. They have been listed in the Quran that they do have rights, but to pay them to fulfill a religious service or duty, which we believe that it is false, it is not permissible.
Jazakallah khair for that answer, Sheikh. We have now on the line Brother Khurshib from the United Arab Emirates. Go ahead with your question, brother.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, Sheikh Salah, I'm having two questions, and one of is very serious to me at least. One of my friend, his father is paralyzed last 2 years, totally paralyzed even the tongue. And my friend's mother is looking after him. It is 2 years, he has become very tired. So this time he went and he discussed with his mother. So mother says that I'm very tired, I want to live with you. So they went to the scholar in India. And I was surprised that that scholar said that yes, your mother, she can take a divorce and she can live with you. So he was very confused. I said, don't worry. And he's sitting with me and he's listening, and he wants what Islam says at this stage.
What about the father? What are they going to do with him? Dom him?
No, the scholar says that his mother is here. His sisters are here, so they can look after, or you can come and you can see him.
Who can look after him? I'm sorry again?
The sister of his father.
His sister?
Yeah.
His aunt, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
And the second question, Sheikh Salah, that just I want to know that Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the Fajr prayers in Sunnah, which rakah he used to pray, Qul Huwallahu Ahad and Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq, or any other, which I am confused.
Okay,
if
sure.
you just tell me.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Salam.
You're most welcome.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Indeed, okay, I'll take this phone call first.
Okay, yeah, we have on the line Brother Abu Sufyan from India. Go ahead with your question, please, brother.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah, Dr. Salah, your program last time regarding Aisha radiallahu anha is very, very nice.
Radiyallahu anha wa
And
ardaha.
I want from all the Muslims to continue same program like this to educate the people about this great scholar.
Jazakallah
And
khairan.
inshallah, Allah Ta'ala will grant you for this your deed, inshallah, grant you Jannat al-Firdaus.
Ameen. And
I
you
have
too.
two questions, Sheikh. I
Okay.
have two questions.
Please
One
proceed
is
on.
regarding the descendant of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, like some family members, they are saying that they still belong to the family of the Prophet. So for this type of family, they are telling that we cannot give the star. So it is okay, and this family is called Sayyid family. Okay?
Actually, could you repeat that question a little bit slower so I can make sure I have it correctly?
Okay. My second question is,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead with your next question.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead with your next question.
Second question is regarding the oil wealth of some Muslim countries, as they are keeping this oil wealth for themselves. It is fair to keep this oil wealth for them, as if they should distribute this oil wealth to all people of all the Muslims of Ummah, like Africa and Asia and other continents. Is it okay? Can you throw some advice on this, please? Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay. Wa alaikum salam wa
Wa alaikum
rahmatullah.
salam.
And thank you for your question. We could go back to Brother
Khurshid.
Khurshid's issues.
Indeed, it is very sad to hear such story. A couple who have lived together and they do have grown-up children. One of the spouses got paralyzed, whether it is the man or the woman. Loyalty requires that the other party should look after the one who got paralyzed or got affected or got ill until they meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because there is a contract. The contract is not just a marriage or to share bed or to have fun once both of them are healthy and physically fit and financially in good conditions. No, it is in ups and downs. It is in prosperity as well as in adversity, in health as well as in sickness. There is a mutual support. There should be a mutual support. She said that after 2 years she cannot take care of him anymore. That happens. Maybe you cannot take care of him, but that should not require you to ask for divorce and just dump him to his sister or any other family member. And the son should not help the mother to do that. Rather, I would suggest that if the son is financially capable, perhaps you can hire a full-time nurse or a maid or somebody who would take care of both of your parents. But it is not only about the labor or changing perhaps his adult diaper but just seeing that his family members are supporting him and mutually supporting him, it makes a big difference. And in order to make it very easy for you, because you only presented your view, just remember that the Prophet ﷺ said in the sound hadith, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. Now let's look at it this way. He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, none of you is a true believer, not unless that you love for your brother exactly what you love for yourself. So let's assume that it was the other way around. The case was the other way around, that it was the mother who got sick. Isn't it his right to get married again if he wanted to get married? Yes, of course. But what if he decided to divorce her and dump her? He may do that. It is not prohibited, but it is not loyal. It is not right. It is not the right thing to do, especially during this time, the time of need. So you don't have to ask for divorce. You can move with your son, you spend some time here and some time with your husband. And why not? Both parents move with the son, where if he can afford to have a maid to serve both of them, just seeing your dad every morning is a blessing, is a great thing. And when some people think that they are doing their parents a great deal of favor by looking after them when they get old, And for instance, some of the parents, when they are in such conditions, they even wear adult diaper, and they need somebody to change for them. You need to remember one thing. Still, you have not paid them an odd equivalent to what they have done to you. The difference is very obvious. Because when they were changing your diaper, when you were young and baby, they were praying for your life, to have a long life. They were very optimistic that you're going to grow up, you're going to go to medical school, you're going to graduate and get married, they're going to see your children, their grandchildren, and so on. And in your case, that yes, you're taking care of them, and meanwhile you're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for them to pass away. You cannot wait. This is generally speaking. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in one hadith, in a part of it, may he be humiliated, may he lose whom? One who witnesses his parents, or one of his parents, reaching senility or an old age, and cannot enter paradise through serving them. So having your parents alive in such conditions is a blessing, is actually one of the keys of paradise. So make sure, inshallah, you reconcile between them, and you can tell your mother, if you're going to look after her, why not look after both of them? Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair for that answer, Sheikh. He had a second question there about if there's a certain rakat that the Prophet ﷺ used to write.
The sunnah before Fajr, the tradition of the Prophet ﷺ in such sunnah, as well as in duha and in the sunnah of Maghrib, is to recite in the first rak'ah after Surah Al-Fatiha, Surah Qul Ya Ayyuha Al-Kafirun. And in the second rak'ah after Al-Fatiha to recite Surah Al-Ikhlas or Qul Huwa Allahu Ahad. That's not a must. It is just a tradition. So if somebody changes, it's perfectly fine, but it is recommended to recite it in this order. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair. We have on the line now Brother Omar from Nigeria. Go ahead, brother, with your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaykum assalam, ya Omar.
My question is, this is concerning Sunnah prayer, that correcting Sunnah prayer. Some people are of the opinion that when you're correcting Sunnah prayer, you don't really need to correct it. Rather, if you make a mistake in it, since it's Sunnah prayer, you're not supposed to do Qabli or Badi to correct it.
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
Okay. My second question is concerning an act during prayer. There is a hadith that was talking about not going down like the camel. But I watched it on a program that Sheikh Salah did, and he said this is not a pillar. It's not a pillar in the prayer.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really matter. So I want more clarification on that. That's going down with the knees before the hands when you're going for sujood.
Okay.
Okay. That's my second question.
Jazakallah khair for that question. And we also have Sister Abdullah from Qatar. Go ahead, sister, with your question, please.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I've got three questions.
Okay.
The first question is regarding, we were in India at the beginning of Ramadan, but for the end of Ramadan, we were in Doha. So we got to fast only 29 days, while the others got 30. So should we fast an extra day to compensate?
Okay.
Question number 2 is regarding zakat. My father bought some property with the intention that it is good value for money, and he didn't want to leave his money also in the bank. So is this property now zakatable? If so, how much should he pay?
Okay.
Number 3 is a non-Muslim woman equivalent to a non-Mahram man? And if so, how much should one cover themselves in front of non-Muslim servants and the neighbors, non-Muslim neighbors?
Okay, that last question, just to make sure I understand, are you asking should a Muslim lady wear hijab, proper hijab, in front of a non-Muslim?
Just like how much we wear the abaya and the whole thing completely, how much to cover ourselves in front of non-Muslim men, non-Mahram men. Is it the same with if a neighbor visits us, if she's a non-Muslim, or we have a maid at home, or if she's even if part-time, there is a lady is there at home, how much should we cover ourselves? You got that together?
Okay, we got your question. Jazakallah khair for those questions, sister. We also have a question from Brother Omar. He said that correcting people in the Sunnah prayer, some people feel that it's it's not a big deal and so on. What's the ruling on that?
Whatever applies to the fard applies to the Sunnah with regards to the order, and in case that forgetfulness happens, it should be fixed up, it should be corrected, and it should be followed by praying sujood sahw, exactly like in the case of the fard. So the claim of some people that you don't have to rectify any mistake that happens in the nawafil because it is just nawafil is absolutely false. It is a prayer. So if you forget the middle tashahhud, if you're praying 4 rak'ahs altogether, such as in Sunnah al-Dhuhr or Asr, you skip it and that's it because it's just a Sunnah? No. You rectify it. If you're not sure whether you prayed 2 rak'ahs or only 1 or 3, in this case you make up whatever you're certain, and you make up the missing rak'ahs if it is in minus, or if it is in extra, you still have to pray sujood sahw after the prayer. There is no difference between the fard and the nafl in this regard. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair for that answer. We have now Brother Amr from the United Arab Emirates. Go ahead, brother, with your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, my question is, there's a big debate whether smoking is haram or whether it's makruh. I would like you to just clarify on that for me, please.
You just asked the right person. It is absolutely haram.
It's absolutely haram.
Naam.
Okay.
And inshallah, if I have a chance during the episode, I'm going to quote again and again and again the evidences from both the Quran and the Sunnah.
Okay, please do that because a lot of people have...
Inshallah. But I just have to cover the pending questions first in the backlog, and if we have time, Umar, inshallah, remind me.
Inshallah.
Okay, thank you.
Wa alaikum salam. We have also on the line Brother Muhammad from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Go ahead, brother, with your question, please.
Hello.
Yes, Brother Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
This is Muhammad Sharif
Ahlan wa sahlan.
from Delhi, based in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Well, Sheikh, I got a question. It's a quite technical question for me, really. I am a kind of sandwich between the religious verdict and my practical life. I am a marketeer, and alhamdulillah, I am wearing beard, but it is not as per the Sharia, the peaceful. So, can I have a beard like, say for example, if you free with the machine, 3 number, 4 number like that? And another practical problem is if I try to grow it, so somehow I've got to say really I don't feel like a kind of a pious guy. It looks like a white growth. So please guide me as to what's the best way for me to follow.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Jazakallah khair.
We could go back to Brother Omar's question from Nigeria. He said we've mentioned before in the program a hadith about going down into sujood like a camel. What does the meaning
It is true that we discussed this in details in the program of the Prophet's prayer. And what I said exactly is the hadith which is concerning this move in the prayer, that we should not resemble camels because they kneel down on the knees first, has been interpreted differently. Some of the scholars said, but the knees of the camel are in the front legs, not in the rear ones. So that's why they understood it as that you should not go on the hands first, rather you should go on the knees. Others have understood it as is the explicit meaning of the hadith, that you should not go on the knees first. So I said to come out of this difference, even though I chose what I believe is more authentic and right, I said to come out of this confusion, if you choose this opinion, your prayer is valid. If you choose the other opinion, your prayer is valid, because that is not a pillar of the prayer. That is not a pillar of the prayer. And also I wanted to diffuse an ongoing problem in different communities, especially those who are living in the West. People who come from the Indo-Pak background, who follow the Hanafi madhab. people who come from Malaysia and Indonesia and all of those countries who follow the Shafi'i madhab. And people who come from the Middle East, for instance, those who follow the Maliki, or from Morocco and from Libya and those countries, or from the Peninsula, follow Imam Ahmad's school of thought. I wanted to tell everybody that these differences should not lead to a conflict, because the prayer is valid either way. Whether you raise your hands in the moving takbir, in the movement, in other than the beginning takbir, obviously, like the rest of the madhahib, or if you don't, like in the madhab of Imam Abu Hanif, if you go down on the knees first or on the hands first, the prayer is valid if you fulfill the other pillars and conditions of the prayer.
Jazakallah khair for that answer, Sheikh. We have on the line now Brother Sabr from the United Arab Emirates. Go ahead, brother, with your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Wa alaikum salam. Sister,
Wa alaikum
excuse me.
salam.
My question is, my teacher told me that the Prophet fasted on his birthday on Monday. So we can fast on our own birthday. But my mother is telling it's bid'ah. So I want to know which one's right. And my second question is that everyone is pushed by the earth in the grave. So are prophets safe from this?
Okay.
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 That's it.
Jazakallah khair.
Okay, Jazakallah
Got
khair.
it.
And we also have on the line Brother Ibrahim from Nigeria. Go ahead, brother, with your question. Brother Ibrahim, are you there?
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My question goes direct to the Sheikh.
Okay.
I want to ask whether it's lawful for a Muslim to work in a conventional
Brother,
bank
just
in
make sure
Nigeria.
that you turn the volume down first or mute your TV set.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
We heard the whole thing over.
Is it lawful for a Muslim to work in conventional bank?
Okay.
You didn't do it yet, brother. Mute your TV set, please.
Okay.
Is
Now,
that
is it lawful for us, for a Muslim to work in conventional bank?
okay? I have that question. Okay. Well, if you have more questions, Brother Ibrahim, you can call us back. But please remember, and this goes for all viewers, please remember to turn the volume down on your television sets so we don't hear things repeated, inshallah. We have a question from Abdullah from Qatar. She said that there's a discrepancy sometimes in the beginning and the end of Ramadan, differences of opinion there, and they feel like they only fasted like 28 days or something like that.
Yeah.
Do they have to make that up?
Yeah. Well, if you started fasting in your locality, then you travel to one country which fasted till, for instance, 28 days. Then the next day was declared as the Eid. Then you break your fast and you celebrate Eid with them, and you make up one day, at least one day, in order to come to the least number of days of Ramadan, 29 days. What if it is other way around? That you fasted with one country and you want to travel to another country, and they ended up fasting more than 30 days, 31 days. You should still fast with them and celebrate Eid with them, even though you fasted an extra day, because it could never be 31 days. Why? The reference is the Prophet ﷺ said, صُومُوا لِرُؤْيَتِهِ وَأَفْطِرُوا لِرُؤْيَتِهِ. So basically we begin fasting once we sight the crescent. And also we stop fasting and celebrate Eid once we sight the crescent of the month of Shawwal. But you moved from one place to another. If this locality is still fasting and they have not sighted the moon of the month of Shawwal yet, you should fast with them. If they sighted the moon and it was only 27 days or 28 days, you should stop fasting and celebrate Eid with them, then make up the difference some other days, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair for that answer. We also have Brother Yunus from Nigeria on the line. Go ahead, brother, with your question, please. Brother Yunus?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
My question is this, please. I want to know this. Is it allowed for a Muslim to vote for a non-Muslim when it comes to the terms of democracy? Is it not allowed? If it is allowed, then you can tell me the conditions. If it is not allowed, please, what is the way out for a Muslim voting for them or giving them a priority, saying that they are more better than Muslims?
Okay.
That's
Okay. Jazakallah khair for that question there. We could go back to another one of Abdullah's questions. She was saying that her father bought some property and they pay a certain amount of taxes on it. Do they still have to pay a zakat on it? What's the rule behind that?
It depends on the intention of possessing and maintaining the possession of the property. If it is for trade or business, then it is zakatable every year. And by the way, there is no relationship between taxes and the zakah. Taxes, whether it's Uncle Sam's taxes, their Uncle Sam, or whatever, it belongs to the state. It belongs to the country. But the zakah, it belongs to the poor. It is the right of the poor. إِنَّمَا الصَّدَقَاتُ لِلْفُقَرَاءِ وَالْمَسَاكِينَ. So those who are paying, for instance, 10% or 8.25% more or less, they should not say, I already paid taxes. No, you have not delivered the right of the poor to them. If you bought this property with an intention of trade or investment, then it is zakatable. And in this case, every year you must pay 2.5% on the current value of this property, the market value, and that is annually, based on the lunar calendar.
Jazakallah khair for that answer. We have on the line Sister Hawa from the United Kingdom. Go ahead, sister, with your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you. Thank you for answering my call. My question is, I'm studying at the university, and I've got 3 female flatmates, but last week they just brought a flatmate. I really don't know what to do. I asked them if they could change his flat, but they said there's nothing they could do. So now there's 4 females and just 1 male. And I usually cook on Fridays for all my female flatmates. So I don't know if I cook, should I give him or I should just exclude him? I really don't know what to do. Plus, I'm really uncomfortable with a male in the flat. I always play sometimes. I find it very difficult to sleep.
So you have a male roommate, or can you hear me?
Excuse me?
So you have a male person with you in the same flat that you guys are living in?
Yes, in the same flat.
Okay. Is this like a dorm or something that you rent outside the campus?
No, it's just the school accommodations. We've got separate rooms and we share the kitchen.
Okay. But inshallah will answer you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jazakallah khair for that question, Sister Hawa. We have on the line Sister Adel from Nigeria. Go ahead, sister, with your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My question is if you have a problem, you want Allah to answer your prayers, and you make Qiyam al-Layl and reciting the Quran. So what I'm asking is, what is the best thing to do to please Allah? Is it to give sadaqah or to make sacrifice, to slaughter an animal?
Okay.
That is my question. Jazakumullahu khairan.
Wa jazakum.
Jazakallah khair for your question. We're going to take a quick break, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Ask Huda.
The Philosophy of Islamic Law, a program for restoring belief and trust within Muslims' mind and heart, and for re-establishing a true concept about Islamic rules for others.
stories. In this program, we get to know about people of the past whose stories were mentioned in the Islamic tradition and related by the Prophet, peace be upon him.
That verily us, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we tell you about the best of the stories. We tell you about the best of the stories. When we narrate a story, when we read a story, when we try to benefit from a story, what we are trying to do in reality is to go back through the steps, through the different parts and sections of this story until the story is actually completed, and that we can take the actual benefit directly from the story.
Sheikh Lutfi will narrate these stories in his program Amazing Stories.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered one of the lands to come closer, the destination. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered one whole city to come closer, to move closer to this dead person.
Be proactive. Dr. Haytham Al-Haddad teaches us how to take a conscious control over our life, set our goals and work to achieve them in Islam. Take firm steps towards your future. Be positive and be proactive.
Every single Muslim needs to have in order to be an effective person.
So proactivity in Islam, how to serve our religion and how to serve our life and our guides through all of this.
The proactive person is always motivated. The proactive person always have high ambition. The proactive person, he will not lose his time. He will not waste his time. The proactive person is a generous person.
Bismillah, assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. Welcome back to Ask Huda. I'm your host, Omar Dunlap. I would like to remind our viewers of our telephone number, 002-0238-555-248 or 249, or you can email us your questions at ask@huda.tv. Sheikh, I want to go back to the question of Abdullah from Qatar. She said, how much should a Muslim lady cover in terms of hijab around a non-Muslim lady?
Okay, that's a good question. The awra of a female before another female is basically from the navel to the knees, allowing sometimes a breastfeeding woman to feel comfortable before other women. But in other conditions, of course, that part will be covered as well. Similarly, before non-Muslims, if this non-Muslim woman is a trustworthy woman, if she's a woman of manners, but a woman whom you may suspect that she may describe the details of you before her husband or before other gathering. Whether this woman is a Muslim woman or a non-Muslim woman, then you should wear a hijab before her. So it's a matter of suspecting that one of those who will be present or one of those ladies is not a trustworthy woman. In this case, you should cover up properly. Some of the scholars said, well, a non-Muslim woman should be treated like a male. And this opinion is adopted by many of the scholars, which I personally believe the first opinion is more authentic, because there is no direct proof that a Muslim woman should cover before a non-Muslim woman fully, like she's covering before a man. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair. We have on the line Brother Saleh from Switzerland. Go ahead, brother, with your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My question is, if one goes for Fajr prayers at the mosque, and then you arrive late, the first rakat is already gone, so the second rakat is after this. You sit down, the Imam says Assalamu alaikum. So I see some they read loud and some they read low. So can you clarify this for me, which one is correct? And my second question is also concerning about the mosque, that if the first row is completed, and then you came, and then the second row, you are alone there. So
Yeah.
I see some, they pull one behind, or some they squeeze inside. Okay, some they stand alone, even
I
there's
got it.
nobody there. So
I got it.
can you also tell me this?
I got it, Salih.
Am I allowed to add another third question?
Sure.
Okay, my third question is, I have a family member that I advise not to take riba, but he don't he take riba because he say he want to buy a house, something like that. So I was not happy. I tell him all what the Prophet said about it and the Quran, but still he went with it. So for me, what can I do to this family member?
Okay.
I'm not happy. So what should I react to him?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Okay. Jazakallah khair for that. I would like to go back to Brother Amr's question. He said he was talking about smoking. Is it haram? Is it makruh? What is the evidence
I'd like
for
to
that?
begin from bottom to top with the evidence, and in brief, because there are many callers who are holding on the line, we're holding them. I would just like to ask a very innocent question, which is, if we like to measure smoking, pros and cons, benefits versus harm, can you count one single benefit of smoking? Can you count one?
One's not going to come to my mind.
Other than pleasing the shaitan and pleasing your hawa and desire? Can you count any? No. On the Day of Judgment, the scale will only have two parts. One for the good deeds and one for the bad deeds. So every action or saying or even hinting has to be deposited somewhere, either in the part of the good deeds or in the part of the bad deeds. So I want to ask another very innocent question. What do you think? Which part would be more worthy of smoking? Smoking will be deposited in the good deeds or in the part of the bad deeds? Can you present an answer? Even heavy smokers would say, obviously, with the bad deeds. Oh, you already answered yourself, right? So now we agree that we put a cross sign on smoking. It's bad and it's restricted. The level of the prohibition, is it just mere dislike, or should be dealt with as completely prohibited? And is it as prohibited as drinking, as alcohol, for instance? Let's see the effective cause of drinking. Why was it prohibited? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the last stage of prohibiting wine, He said, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِنَّمَا الْخَمْرُ وَالْمَيْسِرُ وَالْأَنصَابُ وَالْأَزْلَامُ رِجِسٌ مِّنْ عَمَلِ الشَّيْطَانِ فَاجْتَنِبُوهُ. You must avoid it because it is of the filthy work of Satan. And that is too, smoking. In a stage before that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى حتى تعلموا ما تقولون. Don't you approach the prayer or start it while you're drunk in order to know what you're saying. In the very early stage, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يسألونك عن الخمر والميسر قل فيهما إثم كبير ومنافع للناس. They ask you, O Muhammad, concerning alcohol and gambling. Say, they possess some benefits and some harm. And their harm is way greater than any benefit. So as we tried to measure the pros and cons, the benefits versus the harm in the beginning, and we counted only one benefit in the case of khamr, which is trade, that those who sell wine, they make a worldly profit. Soon it will depart them, and they will depart it, and it will be also deposited in the balance of their evil deeds. So that is the only benefit, which is, if you investigate it, it is harmful as well, because it is haram. And the Prophet ﷺ said, كُلُّ جَسَدٍ نَبَتَ مِنْ سُحْتٍ فَالنَّارُ أَوْلَى بِهِ. So those who are trading in whatever is haram, they think they are creating or generating a profit, while it is destroying them. And the fire is more worthy with such body which he grew up and nourished out of haram. Bottom line is, if there is no benefit whatsoever in smoking, then let's count the harmful effects of smoking. Number one, I understand that approximately 70% more or less of lung cancer is due to smoking, whether first hand or second hand. So it's not only limited to the smokers themselves, it is extended to those who happen to be in the surrounding. And that's why in advanced countries, the countries which produce and manufacture cigarettes heavily, they have put so many restrictions. And you just returned from Tennessee, and just a couple of months ago, they banned smoking completely in any restaurant, any indoor, in any mall,
even in bars where they drink alcohol.
Even in bars.
Yeah.
I was there in the last day when they said today is the last day. They left all the non-smoking signs and smoking areas. It has become completely smoking free. Why? Because they know better it is harmful. But they export it to other countries heavily in order to poison them. And if you're free to buy or not to buy. So if you're stupid enough, you buy. Because An-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, on the Day of Judgment, no one will be dismissed before having to answer 4 questions. There is a very interesting question out of the 4 questions, which is your wealth. من أين اكتسبه وفيما أنفقه. How did you earn it? And how did you spend it? So imagine when you tell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gave you a provision and you abused it. You bought poison. You bought poison to poison yourself, to kill yourself, and kill your family members, or your colleagues, or your friends who are sitting around you. It is very sad when I was very sad when I've seen some unformed or informed children, infants, basically some mentally retarded and things like that. And when I asked, the mother told me that because she was a smoker. So you're hurting yourself, you're hurting your body, your lungs, your pocket, and you're hurting your beloved ones. A child, an innocent child, has to live his or her entire life mentally retarded, deformed. Why? Because of an evil satanic desire. So can you give me one single reason why shouldn't it be considered as haram? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ بِكُمْ رَحِيمًا. Don't you kill yourselves. Allah is most merciful with you. Any mean of killing, whether slowly, gradually, or innocently, is haram. So since it leads to death due to lung cancer, for instance, or, then it should be considered as haram. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has said in the sound hadith, harm should neither be inflicted nor reciprocated. And both are available in smoking. You hurt yourself and you harm others as well. There is no benefits in it. And it's not some sort of addiction. Even if it is, you must quit. So I want you to imagine that the companions, before the prohibition of wine, that they lived their entire life drinking. It was like our soft drink, right? Some people do not eat any meal without having their soft drink. The Sahaba before Islam and for many years before the last stage of prohibiting wine, they used to drink. So once the last stage was achieved, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَاجْتَنِبُوا, you must avoid it. The companions, some of whom were already drinking. So once the caller said, Allah has prohibited drinking, Allah has prohibited wine, they dropped the glass. Big pots, ancient pots. It's a wealth, very expensive. They poured them in the streets immediately and they broke the pots. It was described as rivers running out of wine in the streets of Medina. Why? An immediate compliance. Because they loved Allah. they know exactly the command is coming from whom. So there was an instant compliance, an instant obedience. We as a Muslim Ummah should be the first to declare Mecca a smoking-free area, a smoking-free zone. And all the holy places, then the schools, then the public areas, then the public transportations, the sporting clubs. Yahi, it's very sad that you go to some sporting clubs in Muslim countries, they don't allow the jubbah or the thawb for men to say, no, you look religious. Okay, and they are very strict in applying these rules. But you see people smoking right and left. I was at one of the airports in some of the Arabic countries. And once I landed, everybody was smoking, and I saw it's air conditioned and closed hall at the airport. And I saw a big ranking officer who was smoking. And I noticed that he was smoking beneath a huge sign which says, no smoking. So I just wanted to bring to his attention that, you're supposed to be doing the opposite, catching those who smoke or fining them, because there is a big fine. So I spoke to him kindly and gently. He said, I know already. Why? Because there is no law and order. Islam was the first to establish a law and order. So everybody would undergo the law. Smoking should be prohibited, and not only in certain areas, whether in public or private. And the only mean of banning smoking completely is when the scholars explain to people it is extremely harmful. There is no benefit in it. You hurt yourself and you hurt others. We should avoid it completely, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us to avoid every harmful thing.
Jazakallah khair for that detailed answer, and I hope that some of our viewers that maybe are having a problem with that take heed, inshallah. We have Brother Awab on the line from the Sudan. Go ahead, brother, with your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You are performing a great role. My question is, what is the difference between the two kinds of guidance of tawfiq and the guidance of irshad?
Irshad, okay.
Jazakumullah khair.
In general, Hidayatul Irshad is such as when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ إِنَّا هَدَيْنَاهُ السَّبِيلَ إِمَّا شَاكِرًا وَإِمَّا كَفُورًا. It's like the traffic light, for instance. Green, you may go. Red, you have to stop, and so on. But some people do not even consider the red color as you have to stop. They cross the light, and that's why they get fined. So Hidayatul Irshad is to tell everybody this is the truth. وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوهُ. Hidayatul Tawfiq is to give success to certain selectees or certain individuals whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would choose as His ibadahul mukhlasin, chosen servant, to comply with the first kind of guidance. Hidayatul Irshad is for everybody. Iblis, Satan, was given Hidayatul Irshad. Pat Robertson was given Hidayatul Irshad. Every non-believer is given Hidayatul Irshad because the message is for everybody. But whether to comply or not, those who comply, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them tawfiq, give them success to accept Hidayatul Irshad and comply with it.
Jazakallah khair for that answer, and Jazakallah khair for being with us today. But unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for today's episode. So I would like to remind our viewers that if you have any other questions, you can email us at ask@huda.tv. And for those of you who would like to join in our good deeds and help Huda TV with a financial contribution, either for this show or other shows, you can email us at support@huda.tv. Until next time, I'm your host, Omar Dunlap, wishing you peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the altar.